Hey folks, Dex here. I just got home from work and I found a package from Warlord Games sitting on my porch. I think you know what this is. So let's open it up and take a look. Alright, well, if you guessed a Konflikt 47 Axis Starter Army, you would be correct. And you probably did guess that because I'm guessing that I probably put it on the thumbnail. So, like usual with a Warlord game order, they sent me a free sprue. And this time it was British Airborne, which is amazing because I do in fact play British. So thank you, Warlord. That is awesome. Let me get this out of the book or out of the box and get it opened up, and we'll take a look at what's inside. All right, actually, before we get this opened up, let's refresh what the contents of the Axis Starter Army were. And I also want to point out that I am actually recording from my gaming space, which does not have particularly good acoustics because it's in my basement. So I do apologize if the audio is particularly bad or worse, but I was really excited about this, and I know a lot of people are interested in the new starter armies. So we have the new Resin platoon commander, a squad of Stalltroopen, the Nachteiben specialist infantry, a Vogelspine light walker, and the Panzer IV with legs. Now, the Vogelspine and the Stalltroopen have been covered by many people already because those were sent out as demos. So I'm actually not going to go over those. I'm only going to go over the new resin models that are in this kit. All right, opening the kit up, we immediately have our sprue of Stalltroopen. Just going to set those aside for now. And we have our order dice and rift dice. That is nice. We'll put that aside. And it looks like we have some resin pieces here. So let me go ahead and find the... Yeah, here's our Vogelspine. So we're going to set that aside as well. Alright, and this looks like this is our Panzer IV. Now, it does look like we're getting the entire Panzer IV, including the turret, so we'll be able to build that as well. And we will just not be adding the wheels, we'll be going with the legs for this. Alright, and here we have the walking tank conversion kit for the Axis. Dump these out real quick. Let's see what we got in here. Alright, looks like we have the top of the turret, and I'm not really sure where this, I have a feeling this is going to go on the bottom of the tank. We'll take a look at that. I'm actually not seeing the Resin platoon commander, so I'm hoping that that's in here a little deeper. I'm just going to open up this next bag and see what we've got. Alright, this is our other Warlord resin bag. I'm going to open that up. Alright, now I know some people are not a fan of resin, but if you have not tried the Warlord resin, I really think that you should check it out. One of the things that I'd wanted to look at on these was what is the mold gates looking like. These are much, much better than the older resin kits. An example of one of the older resin kits would be like this Mammoth that I just recently finished. Whoops. And while these are nice kits, these older kits are nice, they do require quite a bit of cleanup. And these new kits do not appear, at least on first inspection, to require much cleanup at all. They seem really, really clean already. Alright, and next we have the Nachteiben, the 5... Oh, actually it says that this includes the Stalltroopen, so maybe crisis averted. Now, if you've never ordered from Warlord Games before, I want to point out that had that figure been missing, I have absolutely no doubt that Warlord would take care of it. Warlord Games has probably the best customer service of any gaming company that I have ever had to deal with. All right, so here are the Noctalben. Make sure that gets focused in there. So again, if you're unfamiliar with Warlord Resin, the Warlord Resin models are really, really nice. If you hear a bit of singing in the background, that is my daughter. All right, and here we have another one of the Stalltroopen. Please do not mind my cracked hands. I am a machinist, so kind of comes with the territory. So yeah, these Warlord Resin models actually look fantastic. I do apologize, I don't have the greatest camera. I'm using a phone, but these things look great. Now, if you were curious, these are multi-part resin kits. Now, whether that means that we'll have options for how we assemble them, I really won't know until we try to put them together, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like we have just enough parts to put together the 5 guys. And we have some hideous heads here. Hideous in all the best ways. Yeah, so these Noctalben might be one of my favorite new models for Konflikt. And as I did mention, my Stalltroopen Commander is in here, and this resin is great. Again, this is also a multi-part model, but 4 parts, easy peasy to put together. Detail is great, and honestly, if these were available as specialists with different weapons in a blister pack, I would be totally okay with that. And obviously, also included, we have the official Rift dice. We have a blank side, 1 little pip, and the searching symbol. Now, here we have that turret, and I found the cannon for the new gravity cannon. That is going to require a little bit of cleanup to get that to mount flush, because it looks like they used the mounting peg as the gate for the resin, but that's just going to mount up in there. So a little hole there. That's easy enough if you've worked with any type of resin or metal models. This is pretty standard, and honestly, the quality on this resin is phenomenal. Now, we also have assembly guides for all 3 of these. These have been featured elsewhere for the Vogelspine, but we also do have one for the Panzer. Even shows you which parts you're not going to need. And Stalltroopen. Much smaller one for the Noctalben. Not surprising. Only a couple of things there. I am definitely going to be looking for another set of these. Finally, we have a transfer sheet with some suitably Axis-looking symbols, but not any historically problematic ones, for those of you that are concerned about that. Now, I keep going back to these Walker pieces. I don't know if my camera is doing justice, or if YouTube's compression algorithm will do justice to just how good these resin parts look. But I am thoroughly impressed with these. I would absolutely buy an entire Walker made out of this resin. It is tough. It doesn't feel brittle. Some resin, little pieces like this here, feel brittle. And I work in manufacturing, so I have a pretty good idea of that. But yeah, sometimes these resins for various manufacturers will feel brittle, and you're worried about them breaking during gameplay. Obviously I just picked this up, but what I'm feeling, I am not worried about this breaking. This is a nice, solid piece of resin. Really good looking parts. And again, this snap valve is all one piece, so I think this is a good one to show. Take a look at the detail on this. Very minimal cleanup is going to be needed on that. Obviously, with any resin model, you're going to want to clean it with hot soapy water before you prime it, but I'm honestly blown away. They did a phenomenal job. So that is about it. Not really much else for me to show you on these, but thank you for joining me, and stay weird, everybody. And hope you get yours in soon.